So, you're listening to the Future is Freelance podcast, the show for solopreneurs, digital nomads, slowmads, consultants, remote workers, e residents, and everybody living a life without traditional boundaries. We're here for people who defy categorization, people who make a life and are living their own way. Every Freelance Friday, we're bringing you expert tips, inspired insights, and stories from the frontiers of freelancing to help you achieve success with your borderless business, whatever success means to you as you live life on your own terms. And today, we're exploring some of my favorite subjects: social media, podcasting, and the power of collaboration in cohorts. And we're joined today by previous guest and the person who actually edits this show that you're watching and listening to right now. This is Steph Fuccio, who previously joined us back in season 3, episode 6 in March. So welcome back, Steph.
It's a pleasure to be back. It's so fun to hear you say that live, like to do the intro live. That's very cool. It's very meta.
Yeah, you must know it word for word. I should have just let you introduce the show, really. You've been doing so much excellent work on the present season, and video is completely outside my comfort zone, but you've held my hand and led me there and made it look and sound great too. So tell me about what changes you've been making with season 4 and what you've been doing behind the scenes that people won't appreciate.
Well, it's easy to make it look and sound good because you have such amazing content. So I mean that part is a no-brainer. But we've been doing more over on YouTube specifically. We've been like optimizing everything with the funny thumbnails and we have to make sure to make a funny face so we can use that for our thumbnail for this one too.
Oh, I think I just do that naturally, automatically, regular intervals.
My hands have a life of their own, so I tend to like just kind of scan for one of those moments. So yeah, thumbnails and tags and timestamps so people can, go around so it can be scannable. So just mostly optimization so that it starts getting recommended to people more and more and more, and it's working.
Yeah, it's just really exciting because I've focused so much on the audio for the first year and a half. The video just went out there automatically and I didn't really take any notice of it and it didn't really generate any traffic. But the difference when someone's actively managing it is really transformational. And this is what you do, right, Steph? You specifically work with small business podcasts and SMEs. And are they all like me? What's your focus in business?
I don't it's more of a focus on small business folks that are teaching others to do something,
Right.
more so than a specific industry, which I love because I am a lifelong learner and I love having a finger in each industry kind of thing. So I've got a
Mm.
bookkeeper, I have you in the remote space, I have folks doing like historical podcasts. I have all kinds of different things. And I specifically have I promise I won't make this too long, but I'm so
No, I'm
excited because
fascinated.
yeah, because it's podcast focused, but then I have 3 supporting mediums that I really recommend to folks, and that is a newsletter, which of course you already have, YouTube optimizing your YouTube channel, and LinkedIn profile, which fits in amazingly with what we're doing today.
Yeah, well, it's all part of the same thing, isn't it? It's about
Mhm.
us trying to project ourselves online in a way that's consistent, authoritative, leads people into our world and
Mhm.
helps us show up for the people that we want to help, that we want to do business with, and we want to connect with and communicate with.
Exactly, and the podcasts are amazing, but you have to get them into people's ears, and that's where the supporting mediums of newsletter, YouTube, and LinkedIn are. It's to help you get in those conversations where people go, "Oh, she's got a podcast. Let me listen to it." So,
Yeah, it's
yep.
quite amazing. I've just got back from an event, an international event, and I was talking about freelancing and Estonian e-residency. And I had at least 3 people come up to me and say, I know you from your podcast. And
Yay!
it's so powerful. People who actually recognize you, because now it's video as well. They know what I look like as well as what I sound like. And it creates that amazing connection already
Mhm,
with people who already, it's not just that they recognize your voice and your appearance, but they're already connected with your message and
mhm.
they feel some empathy with you. They feel that they know you,
Yeah.
which is really quite interesting because then you have to build the other half of that relationship when you actually meet them in real life because you can't see back through the screen. I've tried. I just can't get the camera to work the other way. And who are these people? So it's wonderful when they do come up and say
Mhm.
hello. And please do that to any podcaster or YouTuber.
Yes.
I'd be
Oh
so
my gosh,
thrilled with
yes.
that. But I
Yes.
suppose one of the ways we do have that two-way conversation is through social media like LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And that is
Absolutely.
definitely one of the ways that we can make it into a conversation, because reviews, just mentioning reviews, folks, reviews for podcasts and comments, these are all incredibly valuable. But when it's actually in a social platform where it's not something broadcast, but it's just completely a community, then it can be really mutual, conversational, things can
Mhm.
get shared and amplified, and it all happens in public. So that's really exciting. And that's why I am leading a cohort starting on Monday to help people level up their LinkedIn. And this is something that I've mentioned in previous episodes, and it's really important because of that mutual connectivity. Now, I'm not going to put you on the spot here, Steph, but how many podcasts might there be in the world at this moment? How many
Whew, active, I
YouTubers?
think there's so many stats. I wanna say maybe 1,000,000 active globally, but
I
that's not
mean, that
counting
wouldn't
the
surprise
YouTube
me.
ones that don't have an audio
Yeah.
component that call themselves podcasts, so a
How
lot.
many blogs? How many business websites?
Mhm.
How many of us solopreneurs doing our thing in the world, and often very successfully when we make that contact with the right people. But what I want to do is help more and more, because I'm obsessed with remote work and freelancing. I've proved it over and over again that the best way to do that, to disconnect yourself from having to work for a particular company or having to be in a particular location, is to build that online presence and be found and known for exactly what it is you do better than anybody else, more niche than anybody else, more specialized. And LinkedIn is so powerful for that. So that's why I'm going to be working with people. It's in a small group, and we're going to be committing to post 5 times a week, every weekday, which is a bit, but it doesn't have to be an epic essay every time. It doesn't have to be really substantial. It's just a case of, if we all post every day, we can all see what each other's doing. We can give feedback. We can comment. We can uplift and engage with each other's work. And so that's what we're going to be doing from Monday. There are still places, so we will drop links into the comments for that. But one of the other things we're going to be looking at, if I can get everything finished in time, I'm still working flat out because I want to put so much into this challenge. We're going to be looking at people's profiles. So Steph has very bravely and boldly volunteered to submit her own for scrutiny today. Now, do you want to share, or shall I share it, Steph?
Yeah, please do, and I actually
Let's
looked on the
get into it.
podcast index, and for podcasts that have published in the past 30 days, it's just a hair above 350,000, so it's not as many as I had thought.
Oh, well, yeah, that's no problem to compete against then. 350,000. I mean, we just have no trouble at all competing with that,
No.
right? Okay, how do I share my screen? I never do this actually. Screen sharing is easiest with 2 monitors. Well, I haven't got 2 monitors. Let's see if I can do it
Okay.
anyway.
Let me walk you through this then, 'cause it's a little bit awkward. So when you go to yeah, you got it. You'll
I got
probably
it.
have to
Yeah.
not
I'll just pull it into
see
another window.
us. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's fine. Yeah, no, I'll put you over there and we're over here. Yeah, it's all good. So,
Yay.
what are we looking at here? It's you. Fantastic.
Yay.
Now, you told me that you feel that you don't give your profile a lot of love, that
I
you maybe haven't.
I I love it, I just don't maintain it. I don't know how to put, like, client work into, because 'cause I'm so used to jobs, not
Mm.
clients. I'd still 4 years in, but I'm just still very awkward on at what point do I put them on the CV? At what point do I tag people? Can you tag people in your yeah. It's just weird, and the phrasing of it is odd because I still am thinking in terms of this is what I did for my job. I think in terms of tasks, not so much as in accomplishments and successes for the clients, and I just don't update it very much. I just freeze.
Well, it's difficult, but I suppose the only thing to remember is that you don't have to attack it all at once. You can chip away at this. You could decide to spend 5 minutes a day or something and tackle one piece at a time. Got a really nice guidebook, which I can also put the links to in the comments, but we can start with your profile. Now, you've got a nice headline here, which tells me exactly what you do. I think that works great. We've got podcast editor and marketer. I would like you to maybe have a rethink about that in terms of what people might search for.
Mhm.
if they need you. There's no mention of YouTube in there, which I regard as your superpower. Obviously, podcasting has to be in there, but nobody's searching for a 360 podcasting media
I
strategy.
know. Yeah.
So
I
we
think I
have
was
to try and put this into what their words would be.
right. I think I was trying because there are so many podcast editors and marketers that I was trying to, like, infuse the thing I do differently, which is including those other 3 supporting mediums, and I'm like, "Yeah, but
Yes.
nobody" you're right, nobody's gonna search for my term for what that means.
Yes, and somehow if you can cram in newsletters and social in there, that
Mhm.
would that's because people know what they are and they might be
Mhm.
looking for those. Podcast editor and marketer is the first thing that's going to show up, and
Mhm.
that's perfect because that's the bit that will show above the fold when you comment,
Mhm.
and it might be followed by the dots that people want to learn more. But when they come over to your profile, we want to make sure they can say, "Oh, that's what she does." Either
Right,
that's exactly what I need, or I can rule her out quickly and
right.
move on to somebody else.
No,
So
don't rule me out.
no, but you want to
Sorry.
rule out the people who aren't right. So you're
Right,
gonna waste
that's true.
time with the people who, what they really want is audiobooks or, that's not your thing. So it's not or they're corporate or whatever. You want people who are very, very clear matches for you and will fit into your stable of clients and, use the best make the best use of your skills and what you do. So we do want to rule people out as well. We've got tags are perfect because obviously these are the things that you do. These are what people are looking at. Podcast editing. Yeah, again, I'd want to see video in there because it's
Mm.
so powerful. Now, LinkedIn has recently started giving us these links because obviously they want us to go somewhere that's not LinkedIn and they don't want us going away. So this is quite recent. This is a link to your courses. I wonder if you might want to just review the anchor text there. It could be
Yeah,
podcasting courses or check out my amazing courses or just something that for me it's not important that they're 60 minutes, but you could say blazingly fast courses or something like that just entices people to take a closer look. And it's
yeah.
really hard to make good use of sort of that real estate of one link, but it's definitely worth a try. And you've got your services there, you've got your connections, that's fine. Let's have a little look. Where's your about section? Here we are,
Uh,
it's down here.
yeah.
Yes, this is the bit that's most exciting, really. And the
Mhm.
bit that I suggest people spend the most time trying to optimize if they do nothing else.
Oh,
It's all about search and being found within your network. It's such a weird mixture, LinkedIn, of search and social. And you've kind of got
right.
to work both sides against the other. Keep connecting with people who are going to find you here and they're going to remember who you are and they're going to tag you and so on. So this is obviously you've used rich human engaging language here. I would just make certain that you've got your keywords too. And again, what are people searching for? Help me set up YouTube. Um, Help me reach more listeners with my podcast.
Mm.
So these little phrases, because if somebody comes on LinkedIn and just says, I need
Mhm.
someone to help me edit my podcast or start my podcast off, or things like that. I love the use of emojis. You can do all this within your about section.
Mhm.
It's important to look at it from time to time, the way that it was before when we just looked at your profile. And I should have done this before I expanded it. So you can see what people see above the fold.
Mhm.
That's the most important thing when people click on your profile or on your thumbnail anywhere on the site, which is really powerful because as soon as you start commenting everywhere, people, oh, who's Steph? I need to check that out. And they'll
So
see that
that's
first couple of lines. So
so is it like 2
Mhm.
or 3 lines then that they've got
Mm.
before they do that? Wow, that's
I think you
not a
need
long
to
time.
get podcasting into there somewhere, podcasting and video,
Yeah.
as well as all the lovely stuff about voice. That's super powerful.
It's very old. I think that
Yeah,
text is honestly the thing that I update the least. That's
it's
probably four-year-old text, yeah.
the thing is, it's pretty timeless. So,
Mhm.
and if you hadn't said that, I wouldn't know. Whereas some people's context might be much more changeable. Because I write about technology and the future of
Mhm.
work, I have to revise my keywords all the time. I'm not
Yeah.
just sort of, yes, okay, out goes metaverse and NFTs, and let's talk about prompt engineering. And, so I have to keep on top of that. Whereas what you're doing is very timeless words, connection, human
Well,
voice.
that's SEO is something I've always struggled with, and so I wonder, like, what's a good way to find the keywords for that I should highlight there?
It's it's not quite SEO because LinkedIn
Mm.
isn't quite as smart as a search engine. It's much more text based.
Okay.
It can get confused by punctuation,
Mm.
emojis, formatting, and all sorts of things. And I think the best way to think about it is to put yourself in a customer's shoes.
Mhm.
Just absolutely focus on that. What would somebody be looking for? What would my ideal clients be looking for? You can
Mhm.
ask your clients, what how do you describe me?
Mm.
Ask them for a testimonial while you're at it and
Yeah.
you know, see what phrases they use.
Mhm.
If you fell under a bus and they had to replace you tomorrow, what would they look for? How would they, oh, Steph's gone, I need a
Yeah.
who or what would they look for? Because
Gotcha.
it's all about trying to match their vocabulary, their descriptions,
Okay.
and things that you would use. Now, I see you've got top skills highlighted, which is great because that's fairly new. And a lot of people haven't actually done this yet. And it's LinkedIn, obviously, they don't publish all their thinking and what's going on in their algorithm. But one of the things that we've had a lot of very strong signals for this year is it's all
Mhm.
about skills. Skills, skills,
Oh,
skills.
yeah.
Whenever you apply for anything, whenever you look at anything, oh, when you set a job alert, like you match on these skills.
Yeah.
So get your skills in there. And if you
Wow.
haven't looked at your skills for a long time, this is something that sometimes we come across with people who set their profile up 15 years ago or something. And it's like, okay, it's fantastic that you're awesome at Excel, but is that really, what people are going to be hiring you
Mhm.
for today? Really think about what value you bring to the table and get
I
that because you can only have, is it six here?
Yeah, it's
Five
very
relevant
limited
skills.
amount of them, which I don't like at
Yeah.
all.
No, but you can weave in if you think about if this is what LinkedIn cares about, make sure that all the ones you can't fit in here are woven into your about text
Mhm.
anyway,
Okay.
that they show up in your experience because you've got skills here as well. You
Yeah.
can add more here.
And if I remember
Again, where's
right,
your
you have
video?
to okay. And if I remember right, you have to choose from their set, and there weren't very many
Yeah,
podcasting ones that I could pick. So a lot of my strong skills, I couldn't pick because they weren't in their list.
it's the same with journalism.
Oh, it's so
That's the
frustrating.
newsroom and things like that. It's like that's not
Yeah.
how it works in 2023 anyway. But LinkedIn isn't perfect by any means, but
Yeah.
it's definitely it's one of these areas that they keep tweaking around with and
Mhm.
changing as well. So
Yeah.
that's good in the sense that hopefully they're evolving it and improving it all the time. But it's definitely worth keeping an eye on. And with the skills you can't
Mhm.
get in here, get them into your work history
Gotcha.
so that
Okay.
then you'll come up. Because remember that people search on LinkedIn if they're hiring, they'll get prompted to do a search of their network first. It's like, oh,
Mhm.
actually, I don't need to run an ad because Steph would be awesome for this. So
Yeah.
just go straight there.
Gotcha.
So the experience section is obviously really important. This is what most people's CVs are these days.
Yeah.
You don't look so worried.
It's awful.
Look, we got okay, 6 years you've been doing this. Let's have a look. There's nothing wrong with this, Steph. It's
Mhm.
just
Blah.
the stuff about shifting and things like that, that doesn't quite go here. That's more narrative. And
Okay.
we need to go skills, experience, what you can do for them. This is
Yeah.
I mean, that could even go into your about section. Your about section could be as I mean, it can be thousands of words long. And, if people want to
Oh.
read the life history of Steph, that can be well down the page. And the other thing about your about section actually is if people aren't logged into LinkedIn, so if you come up in search,
Mhm.
for example, they click right in, they'll actually just see your name and headline in your about section in all its glory. So it is worth having something really
Oh,
built out there. Try
okay.
logging out of LinkedIn and googling yourself. Quite
Yeah.
interesting. See what people see. Though with
Very
with
cool.
something like 900 million users, it's quite likely they are logged in. So they will see this. But yeah, I would really, really focus this onto
Mm.
what you do, how you help people.
Mhm.
A lot of it's in here. It's just slightly, I had to expand that to see, well, what does she actually do? And you can
Well,
definitely put more skills in here too.
yeah, and this is the problem. I'm still thinking as far as, like, an employee and stuff, and so, like, what are some terms that you would use instead of like, employee speak, like, for, like,
Mm.
freelancer or not even freelancer, small business speak? Like, what are some, like, action verbs that would be good to use there as opposed to the, like, super boring ones that I already have?
Not super boring, but we just
Mhm.
need to pack it out with the things that people are searching for. When I needed your help, Steph, I was looking for
Mm,
somebody to support small business podcasting, to
mhm,
optimize video and audio, editing. It's really important because so many people want to shift into multimedia, but they haven't a clue what to do with that file once they've, how do I magic
right,
that onto my phone? And so these are the things that people would be after. So
okay.
definitely want to see more about. You mentioned YouTube in the text here, but I want to
Mhm,
see video editing skills here because it's one of those things that yes, people could teach themselves, but it's for me, I would just rather outsource to somebody who knows what they're doing.
right,
And
right.
if you're targeting SMEs and solopreneurs who are time poor, it's how are you going to fix things for them? How are you going
Mhm,
to save them hassle and trouble and time, their most precious resource? So get it in there. And also, you might find that over those 6 years and 7 months, you have clients who are slightly more than clients, and you can declare a closer affiliation with them.
mhm,
You could actually list yourself as an experienced position podcast editor for,
mhm.
obviously with conversation with that client
Right,
with their consent, which is
right.
hardly likely to be withheld because assuming that there's no sort of secret that you're working for them. It's a really tricky one
Mhm,
because obviously as freelancers we are our business, and that should always be at the top. You get to choose the order
mhm.
when you go in and edit that section. So you can
Yeah,
always have Coffeelike Media at the top. But
right.
within that and overlapping dates, you could have social media manager for
Mhm,
a particular brand and make sure
mhm.
there's a testimonial from them.
Ooh.
Once you have a brand listed in there as well, you get one of these nice pictures if they've got a LinkedIn page.
Yes, yes,
So
yes. Oh,
it
this is exciting because 'cause I've been doing the newsletter and some promotional stuff for the Sound Sorceresses magazine, and they have a company page, so I can go in
perfect.
and do that.
That
That's
should
amazing.
definitely be listed as a position
Yeah,
here, and you can
love
do
it.
a mutual exchange of testimonials. It was something that came up recently in a conversation about LinkedIn top voices, the people who get these badges. I don't know what they're worth. Never had one, not sure, but it does seem to be related a lot to the number of testimonials and
Mm,
people who actively seek out and get hundreds of them.
right. Wow.
There's nothing to stop you asking anybody you
Right.
do a bit of work for, and
Mhm,
I will write you a testimonial. It's it's the kind of thing that I tend to do sort of towards the end of a relationship or something like that. And it
mhm,
doesn't just naturally occur to me, but it should because it's one of the best ways as freelancers that we can pay it
mhm.
forward, support each other. It's really takes no time at all, and I
Yeah.
it's also fine to ask for them.
Mhm,
Just say, could somebody if you're particularly if you're coming to the conclusion of a project or a particular thing is just
mhm,
ask for a testimonial. But if you added in those other positions, it would just kind of not that there's anything wrong with this, but it gives you a chance to highlight different projects, different
mhm.
things people might not know what you do.
Right.
Because I know the Sound Sorceresses, you're on Substack, for example. That's
Mhm.
another keyword that should be in here
Right.
because I keep looking sideways at Substack and thinking, should I? Should I? Everybody's on Substack. No, no, shiny thing. Step away from the shiny thing, Rana.
No,
You've got far too
no.
much going on.
Okay, we need to talk about that later, but,
Okay.
there's a lot going over there, which is just amazing, amazing. The
I
community they're
know,
building,
right?
the
But
discoverability is just yeah. Anyway,
yes, I
yeah, you're
keep
right,
hearing about Substack, but yes, yes, I'm
yeah.
trying
And
to
they're
get
doing
back on.
in-person meetings for writers too, and they're connecting people in ways that are just beautiful.
It's clearly the universe is trying to get my attention on Substack, but I resist it for now. So, but you can get it in here, and then when I'm ready, I will be reminded from your keywords, from your skills. Ah,
Right.
yes, Steph is my go-to lady there because clearly she has this nailed. So, I think particularly when we've been doing that our businesses for a long time,
Mhm,
it's quite a nice ego exercise as well to just go back through and think, oh yeah, I
mhm,
did that amazing thing. I learned that thing. There might be
mhm,
something that you can call out and put into your featured posts
mhm.
here instead of like my stomach, which looks really weird there. So just need to move
I
that
know
on,
I'm not
please.
good at visuals, but I did like that post, so I highlighted that.
No, look, we'll just move swiftly on from that.
Well,
what
no,
you're
can I ask you a
posting.
question about that? Because,
Yeah,
visuals are my nemesis when it comes to social media. Do you know, like, a good ratio to use for, like, for photos so they look good in that area?
I really don't know. I mean, it
Yeah.
looks to me like what they're coming up with here is kind of a landscape
Right.
um, snippet here. So that shows your logo nicely,
Hmm.
but it's quite difficult. And they might change the format of this, and also it's going to look different on every device. So you could
Yeah,
spend hours trying to optimize it to look great on
yeah,
desktop when your next hot client is coming along on their phone, and literally you can't do anything about that. So it's more
yeah.
important just to have the right content in here.
Right.
Because even a
Okay.
spreadsheet, I can see, I might not think, well, that's stunning visually, but I can say, hang on a minute, she actually knows numbers about podcasting, and
Yeah.
it's good to have that in there. And what you actually post as posts, I think is great. I really like what you're doing. You put stuff in here. You support your clients. Obviously, you post about, oh, we've got more Substack. Then stop it. Go away, Substack.
It's coming for you.
It's coming from me. Oh dear. Right. National Podcast Month. This is something I need to know more about. So we're linking straight to your videos. Um,
It's me.
that's great. LinkedIn might not like you linking straight to a video. I see you only got 3 likes on that one.
Oh.
So it's a really tricky one because obviously LinkedIn, like every platform, just wants to
Mhm.
keep you forever on
Yeah,
their
I've heard that you
platform.
shouldn't put any links in the first post, like, you should post that and then put it in the second one, but I resist
You
that.
can
Is
put it in a
that
comment.
true?
Yeah. I
Comment,
mean,
okay,
it's a tricky one. Again, none of this stuff is really transparent.
right.
I went on a webinar for LinkedIn for Journalists earlier this year where
Mhm.
LinkedIn staff categorically denied that there was any penalty for linking out because everybody was like, hey, we're journalists, we're content creators. Everything we want to post is about stuff we've done somewhere else. So, please stop nobbling our posts.
Right,
And they insisted that they didn't. My own testing, what I've found is it seems to be something to do with how far down the post you put the link.
okay.
Also, and again, I've got no evidence for this, but other people have
Sure.
said it too.
Mhm.
If it kind of reads the post differently. So LinkedIn likes image posts. So this is great.
Mm,
But what you can do is, even if the image is on a third party site, an article somewhere,
mhm,
save the image locally, open a new post in LinkedIn or in AuthorUp if you're using the plugin, add the image
mhm.
and some text, and then it will read it as an image post and then put the link a long way down your post.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That seems to work. I can't find any kind
Mhm,
of proof that that's a
mhm.
thing, but just in my non robustly experimentally controlled conditions testing, it seems to be a good bit of context, why this thing is important.
Right,
Add the image, even if it's the image you've just scraped from the post. You don't have to
right.
create something amazing and unique,
Mhm.
and then put the link. Other people have got great success putting the link into the first comment,
Okay.
but your first comment should not be for 10 minutes or so. It's better if the first comment
Oh,
isn't from you.
oh,
That
so
does seem to
complicated.
attract a tendency. Oh, I know, right? Oh,
Oh, yeah.
so you write this beautiful post and you write all about why the thing that you've created somewhere else is awesome.
Mhm.
And then you say link in comments and then you go, right, timer,
Wait
10
10
minutes.
minutes.
There's somebody who reads it and so your first comment might be, where's the link? I can't find
Right?
it.
Time to make
Um,
more coffee.
Yes. So you can go around in circles a bit. So I found sneaking the
Mm,
link in after the image,
okay.
after a paragraph or two, so it's below the
Mm,
fold. And so make your opening bit of your post something that people want to read more. So they
gotcha.
open it up. Oh, there's the link. Yeah, right. Now I can go and see the fantastic article that she created over on Substack or wherever. So um, and make sure that it looks like an image post to LinkedIn. Then you don't have to be the first commenter, which does seem to penalize you. It's almost like they think you're trying to sneak something in.
Right. Okay.
And also another thing which I've had verified, again, not from LinkedIn, but from a number of people, is don't edit your post too soon.
Uh-oh.
LinkedIn doesn't like you editing. At least wait 10 minutes or so.
Oh,
Even when you think, oh, I forgot that amazing hashtag or
yeah.
whatever, just pause, go and have another coffee, come back, and then add it after 10 minutes,
Oh,
ideally after you've got a comment in
I'm
there.
so guilty of that. I post So it saves somewhere, and then I go in and edit for any, like, spelling errors or
Yeah.
anything.
Oh god, yeah, that typo, you spot it the second it goes
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
Of course you do, because that's the universe messing with your head. But
Oh, yeah.
apparently LinkedIn doesn't like that. It's a I think what and I don't know this for certain, but I think the algorithm might perceive that as potentially deceptive. Like,
Right,
you make a
and
post, you get all this engagement, and then you change it,
yeah,
so it's
that makes
pointing
sense.
somewhere else. So,
Oh,
and I know
man.
that Facebook too hate
Ah,
sort of editing posts. You've got to be really try and get it right the first time.
mhm.
But I absolutely understand the blaring typo or the missed point or whatever. And go, I'm a writer. I publish something with a typo in it. I'd just have to sit on my hands to not go in and fix it, because I'm sure the
Yeah, don't
entire
edit.
world is looking at it thinking, "God, she's rubbish." And got to sort that out. Um, so yeah, I mean, you can do a lot to optimize your
Mhm,
posts as you go along, but I would say just experiment. You're going to be doing NaPodPoMo.
mhm.
Is that posting every day?
Yeah, National
Yeah,
Podcast Post Month in
awesome.
November.
Well, that's just like we're going to be doing with the Level Up Your LinkedIn challenge. You're going
Mhm,
to be going in every day. So I would suggest experiment. Have a
mhm.
look at your analytics. Have a look at
Yeah.
what's working for you. Try different hashtags. One thing I found interesting recently was just asking ChatGPT for more hashtags.
Mhm, I'm doing that a lot too,
I
mostly for
post about
YouTube,
this, and this. What else
yeah,
should I be tagging?
yeah,
Comes up
and
with
it's
stuff you might not have thought of. It might be rubbish,
so
but you can
good.
experiment
Yeah,
with it.
it's so good,
And
yeah.
there doesn't seem to be too much penalty as well for hashtag stuffing. Basically, you can just bang a
Mm,
whole load of them at the end of your post. And
hmm,
see what
okay,
seems to resonate, and if it's
yeah.
one that you've not used before. I mean, that won't give you any useful data on what's tracking, but at least it's more like sort of early days Instagram, that you could bung a load in there and
Right.
they seem to be automatically read. Another thing is making sure that you're following the people who were using those hashtags and that you're
Yeah,
connecting with them.
yeah.
Use your connections, invite people all the time to connect with
Mhm,
you. Forget about following and things like that. Go straight to the connect button, because it's highly unlikely that they're not going to connect with you, even if they've
oh,
got the creator profile on.
I have a question. Somebody actually asked me recently the difference between follow and connect on LinkedIn, and
Okay.
I did not have an answer because I don't really understand the distinction between those 2. Is
The
there one?
distinction is, yeah, if you've got the creator profile on, which I think
Mhm.
you have because it gives you these
Yeah.
nice featured posts, then that means the default button that you get is follow, which
Oh.
is a kind of it's that asymmetric one way thing that they
Oh,
introduced,
okay.
because us creators are supposed to be, so elevated that
Mhm.
we wouldn't connect with people, but of course we would. And there's always a more button next to it. Obviously, we're
Right.
already connected, but there will
Mhm.
be a connect thing in there. So if you see somebody who you're not connected with
Mhm.
and they've got the follow button on there, just click on more and then
I
you'll see the connect button.
I always thought it was weird, but that people would follow me and not
Yeah,
be and not connect with me. So I do, I tend to I go in and I connect with them, and I'm like, "Well, why didn't you wanna connect? Why did do you not wanna talk to me?"
because I know it's like,
I didn't realize
are
it
you a
was for the
stalker?
people.
Are you yeah,
No,
no,
that
it's
makes
LinkedIn's
more
fault.
sense now.
It's totally on LinkedIn, so it's just something, and again, they might change it back,
Right,
but there does seem to be this thing of, yeah, hiding the connect button a bit now,
right.
and it's
Okay.
definitely worth remembering to connect with people. So if you
Mhm,
say you try a new hashtag and it seems to be getting some traction with people that you like, then just
mhm.
click on that hashtag and see who comes up, who's using it, what are they into, and then you can
Interesting.
send out a load
Yeah,
more connection requests with people.
love that.
And you can literally do 10 a day or something. And the interesting thing to know is if you do that quite tactically based on stuff you're going to be sharing about, like your podcasting challenge,
Mhm,
you will be prioritized in their feed for,
mhm.
I think it's about the next month after you connect. You'll notice when you
Ooh,
connect with new people, you see a lot of stuff from them because
mhm,
LinkedIn's saying, this is your new friend,
mhm.
let's interact. And that works the other way around.
Right.
So you'll be coming up in their feed. So if you think about that, well, I'm going to be posting next week something about this. So what kind of people might be the perfect audience for that content? Then you can really get tactical about it.
Maya, you've just given me hours worth of homework, and I love it.
Sorry about that. Can you edit this podcast first?
Yeah, but only if we stop soon.
Yeah, okay. Well, I've probably given you enough to be getting on with there. Well, that's back at you for keep mentioning Substack all the time. So
I've got it on my note to bug you about this tomorrow.
yeah, well, let's get this live first because I want to help as many people as possible as well as you because
Yeah.
there's an awful lot of good stuff there and it's clearly your
Mhm,
territory. You're a social media expert, you're a podcaster, you're a communicator. It's just trying to keep up with everything that LinkedIn keeps introducing and
mhm,
changing is a big hassle. But and all of these things are, I can't guarantee any of them are going to work and change your life. But if you're posting daily through your podcasting challenge month,
mm,
and if you're thinking about these things like
mhm,
get the image in before the link and stuff like that, then you'll know if it
mhm.
works or not by the end of the month. We should probably have a catch up about it
Yeah, yeah, we
and
should.
just see what's happened with your analytics because this is what I know it's going to happen with the LinkedIn challenge people as well. I encourage people to just it's not about sort of stats and numbers and things
Yeah.
unless you're really into that, which some people are. But I know when I've had a really hot post and I've tagged interesting people, it's
Mhm,
it's got loads of comments, it's got other people replying to the comments and things like that. And you can't predict when that's going to happen, but you can
mhm,
just kind of nudge it in the right direction and try and give it all the tools that it could happen. And then occasionally you'll get one that just goes spectacularly viral and blows up. Another time you'll share something you think is amazing and you really want eyeballs on it and you think it's so great, just
2
sinks
people.
without trace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
So
like, "Wait, what?"
yeah, I mean, that if this is actually content somewhere else, then I would just say repost it, just do a
Yeah.
completely new post, a week later or whatever, because
Mhm,
it's not like people are going to think, oh, she keeps posting about that because only two of them saw the other one. So you can kind of have a do over there, or you might find then it's worth going into Mid Journey and trying to make a bespoke image or camera or something, do
yeah.
something to just try and really grab attention in a way that didn't work the first time. But you never know for certain
Mhm.
why something has worked or not. We just have to try and go with these signals. So, and I really, you're saying nice things, but I really hope you're going to do these things and
No,
that you're
I
going to find
am.
it helpful.
That's why I said, "Maya, use me as your guinea pig. I need help, and I'm, you know, a small business
Well,
person that wants individual attention without the price tag, so here we are."
well, absolutely. This is what we do for each other. And so, what else have you got coming up apart from this podcasting challenge? What else is going on in the world of coffee like media?
Um, well, I'm that's it. That's where I'm moving
That's going to be
towards right now.
100%
That's
of
yeah.
Steph brain.
I tend to do, like, a workshop a month kind of thing, but I even canceled the October one because I'm already starting to pre-record some stuff for November because I've done it 4 years in a row now, and
Wow.
I know that I will go crazy if I don't have 10 of them ready for those days when I just can't handle being online that much.
Yeah.
So and I
Well,
tend to
I'm
do
full of
audio.
admiration. One a week is, I need
Yeah.
your help to do that. So
Well, but this is what lights me up. Like, I love making the content, I love getting the feedback during it. I try to do it as live as much as possible, so there's, like, a chat room, so there's people. So it's I mean, that's what I really, really love to do. I just but even so, it's very intense to do it for 30 days in a
yeah,
row. As anybody that's
yeah.
done the writing one that I never remember the name of, not
Yeah, I
NaNoWriMo?
did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never done that because I don't do that much creative
Mhm.
narrative writing, and
Yeah.
if I did, the thought of doing it with a deadline like that, I do. Journalism's always got a hard deadline and gun to your
Yeah.
head. I do. If I'm ever trying to write something fictional, I don't want that. So, but we this is all about self-awareness, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is knowing what makes us tick, what pushes us away,
Mhm.
what really inspires us, what energizes us, even if it drains us in the end.
Mhm.
This is the kind of thing where we want to give and give. And this is the wonderful thing about being freelance, about being a solopreneur, is you can take that self-awareness and build your whole business around it.
Yes.
And this is what makes it's all very well knowing that if you're doing a job for someone else, but then you have to persuade them that that's how you should spend your time. Whereas we get to choose.
We
Isn't that
do.
amazing?
Oh, and the other thing that's ongoing is the Coffeelike, .substack.com newsletter, which is every Monday.
Well, you can put
Substack.
that in the show notes. I always say I'll put that in the show notes, but you're going to be finishing these up for me. So I know it's all going to be in there. The other thing that will be in there is the Level Up Your LinkedIn challenge, of course,
Yes.
with Remote Work Europe,
Uh,
because it's going to be a small group, but we can fit a couple more in if people are really
mhm.
keen to do it and to commit. to that. It's going to be about 20 minutes a day. You're not going to, you might be able to dash off a post in 5, but we need you to have time to engage with other people, do the community thing, which lifts all of us. So please have a think about that. Have a look at the commitment as specified in the page that we'll link to. And if you're in for it, then jump on it and we'll
October
send you the link
23rd,
and
right?
get you in.
So Monday?
October 23rd, Monday. Yes. I mean, you can do a lot of it in advance, just like you're doing with your podcasting. You can do that in LinkedIn. You can schedule posts, but you can't schedule comments and you can't schedule that engagement. So you can get ahead with a lot of the stuff you're putting out, but you do need to show up. So yeah, this is all about the power of the group, the power of the community. LinkedIn is a fantastic example of that. 950 million people, and
Wow.
let's make them part of your network. And let's remember that it's the individual connections and conversations in that huge network that really matter. So Steph, thank you for being in my network, for being part of the team behind the Futurist Freelance, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. I really enjoyed this.
Thank you for listening to the Future is Freelance podcast. We appreciate your time and attention in a busy world and your busy freelance life. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a fellow freelancer and help us grow this movement of independent entrepreneurs. If you rate and review The Future is Freelance in whichever app you're listening to right now, it really helps spread the word, and that means we can reach more people who need to hear this message. Together we can change the world and make sure the future is freelance. Don't forget you can check out all our back episodes from other seasons and learn more over at futureisfreelance.xyz. We're so grateful not only for our listeners but for the contributions of our wonderful guests and for the production and marketing assistance of Coffeelike Media. This is Maya Middlemiss wishing you freelance freedom and happiness until our next show.